Going in a different subject, and this is probably the big thing that everyone's been talking about since, I guess, Monday night, Monday afternoon.
Stone Cold Steve Austin, baby.
Stone Cold Steve Austin's back. That's right. Can you imagine that day? Garrett, I mean, like, can you imagine it's Valentine's Day, right? And it's Valentine's Day, and I wake up and it's something's going on with Cody, and Stone Cold Steve Austin's coming back, and it's like, oh boy, and no one knows it yet, but knowing that it's wrestling in 12 hours, they probably will. Right. And so I'm out, and I'm getting texts when I promised I'm not going to be working. But anyway, but what was, again, like, I mean, what was your reaction to the Cody thing? I mean, did it blindside you?
Everyone was shocked. Yeah. I mean, wrestling is we all know when our deals are up, like, especially the EVPs. Like, we know when our deals are up. We know when our, in the case of the Bucks, like, when their options kick in. For myself, I don't have a deal like that. As you know, I'm up next year, just straight up done. So I'd have to re-sign a new one. There's no option. And we knew Cody's, much like the Bucks. It was that time. And when we would hear that, okay, there's possibly some difficulty with the renegotiation or whatever. It was almost like you never think it's going to go in that direction where the talent is going to opt for leaving. Especially since, when this first thing started, I would say the most passionate person about a revolution, the most passionate person about kind of creating an us versus them mentality was Cody. So it was strange for him just to choose to up and walk away. However, that being said, feelings change. The environment around you is ever changing. It's constantly changing. And maybe, the mission statement or the goal or the revolution, whatever it is that you're searching for, trying to create, maybe that isn't what it is anymore to you. Maybe that, isn't your inspiration. That isn't what gets you out of bed every day. So I would always encourage everyone, in wrestling, in life, whatever, if your work isn't fulfilling, if it doesn't make you happy, you really should look for opportunities elsewhere, in a place where you can feel creatively free, in a place where you feel that your work is being appreciated and fulfilled. I know, I can't say I know, I'm guessing that knowing Cody as well as I know him, I don't think it was an issue of money. I don't think it was Tony not shelling out enough cash to keep him invested with the company. Cody, he really believed in the vision, in the original vision that he brought to the table for AEW. And I think the original vision that the team brought to the table when AEW was first becoming a promotion, we didn't know where this would go. We had been optimistic about it. We had thought we would be where we are today, where we would be considered, a major promotion, and we would have our fan base, and we would have hopefully a lot of satisfied customers watching our product. But I guess we never really sat down and talked to each other about, okay, we have this opportunity to now change wrestling. How do you see it? How do you see it? How do you see it? How do we make this work? And maybe in the end, we had the Bucks and their vision. We had my vision, and then we had Cody's vision. And all of our visions were different from one another. And I would say mine was more similar to what the Bucks had envisioned, and Cody's was out there. It was much different. You're going to get that, I think, when finally you've committed your life to an industry and a business, and finally someone goes, okay, you've done this job all your life. You've been raised into this business with these shackles on you to a degree by someone or something. Now those are off. You've got carte blanche. What is it you want to do? And I can understand that there might be some heartbreak if you were promised that or told that and it doesn't come to fruition. I get it. I mean, but again, though my professional relationship with Cody was great, he's not a guy that I go and get a Diet Pepsi with in my off time. So I don't know how he personally feels about anything. I can only guess as to why he would leave. And I just think that he saw it with his deal up as an opportunity to investigate something within wrestling or in just life in general that would bring him more happiness. And again, like I don't want anyone doing what we do in wrestling and being completely unhappy or miserable, because that destroys you. It's such a huge, like, mental, emotional, and physical commitment that if you're miserable while doing it, it can only lead to bad things. And we've seen it in wrestling where that can lead to terrible things, whether it be alcohol, pills, drugs,
depression.
A day. And exactly, and that runs rampant in wrestling. Yeah. And I would hate for that to happen when what we were set out to do was something extremely positive for professional wrestling, or that was always the goal anyway. And that's sort of where the Bucks and I differed, where we never wanted to go to war with Vince or WWE. We just wanted to give people an option and just get us a platform for our brand of storytelling and our style of wrestling. And I think, when Cody had his way of going about things, I wasn't sure how to follow up with that, nor was I interested. And so there was sort of like, there's Kenny doing his thing, there's the Bucks doing their thing, and there's the Codyverse over there doing whatever it is that he does. And then there's the stuff that Tony does. And then eventually, as I guess probably a lot of fans know now, it's essentially now just it's Tony's show. And of course he's always going to listen to our advice, and he's going to take our suggestions to heart. But AEW is very much, Tony's thing, Tony's baby. And we're there to support it in any way that we can. And it's very possible that this current version of AEW just wasn't a good fit for Cody, to Cody. For me, I feel like he was one of the original four, and there's always going to be a place for him. And there's always, you saw it in his ladder match with Sammy. He's got incredible utility, and he's able to help our younger talent. So it's not nothing from an in-ring perspective. There's no issues there. If I had a clear-cut answer for you guys, I would love to tell you. But I don't know it, and all I can say is that whatever he decides to do, I heard he's on a flight to Saudi Arabia. So if that makes him happy, that makes him happy. I just and again, Bucks and I we weren't in this for the war. So all the guys and gals at WWE doing their thing, always wishing for the best for those guys, always.
The one thing, okay, like, you weren't in it for the war, but I know from, I guess talking to, in contact with Matt, especially at that point in time, is that, yep. and even more Jericho, is mm-hmm. The acknowledgement that whether you want the war or not, you're in a war because that's the way Vince operates, in the sense
the nature of the business. Yeah,
the nature of the business. I mean, the first, day one. I mean, look, before the TV deal was even announced, okay, mm-hmm. I knew, and it wasn't that somebody from WWE told me. I followed Vince for 40 years. Yeah. I'm not saying I know everything how he thinks, but I most of the time I'm pretty good at how he thinks.
You said it was mm-hmm. the playbook at the time, right? Like, that's the way you kind of talked about it. I
mean, I don't know if I told you, but I certainly told them that, NXT is going to go head to head. I mean, that's what he's going to do. And I thought we all thought it would be on FS1. We didn't think it would be on USA, which was actually a stronger platform. I thought FS1,
of course, absolutely.
FS1, I thought, at FS1, I thought, you know what, TNT versus FS1, it's might even not even the right fight for Vince to pick. But then he goes on USA, and it's like, okay, this is going to be, he got a bigger cable platform, so it's going to be a big fight. And then it was, and then what happened. But the one thing that again, from a Cody standpoint, is like, and like you're one of the few people who would understand this one, is like you are in a position, you're not running the show, but you are certainly a valuable part of the show, and the person who is running the show will listen to you and, will trust you in the sense of he's not micromanaging every move you do. He's not telling you word for word what to do on your promo. You have it's like you go out there and come up with something to entertain the fans. This is your time. Here's what you do. This is your direction. Now you come up with how you're going to fill up that story, but where you're going. Okay. So you have that, and to go. And for Cody, who clearly wants to be creative, okay, I mean, that's one thing you can tell, whatever he wants to be creative, to go and have that freedom, to a degree, because no one has complete freedom, but a lot of freedom, a lot of power in a sense, and to go to a place where you're going to be micromanaged again. It was something that I like, look, nothing surprises me, to that degree.
Right.
You know what I mean? Especially the contract was up. I mean, look, the contract's up, and it's like, you know what I mean? It's like at the level Cody, at the level Cody's at, there's two choices. He's not going to Ring of Honor that barely exists. He's not going to Impact for full time. He's not, and at this point, he's not going to New Japan either. I mean, that 4 years ago, New Japan was different and the travel was easier and all that, right? But he's not doing it.
It was a much different promotion 3 or 4 years ago, yes.
Yeah, it was on fire and great, and not that it's not good, not that it's not great now, but COVID did a number on it. And
yes, I feel like it was affected. New Japan and Ring of Honor really got hit hard by COVID, I would say.